Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2021 Cupra Formentor VZ5. Now this is a car from 2020 onwards in terms of its production cycle, and it is the first car designed specifically for the performance-leaning sub-brand from Seat, and it's named after the Formentor Peninsula in the island of Mallorca. And it's a front-engined all-wheel drive layout vehicle with a 7-speed DSG transmission, and this is a range-topping model with the VZ deriving from the Spanish word for veloz, meaning fast, and the 5 references the number of cylinders that this has. So unfortunately we can't look at this car in depth because we can only look at the interior. Can't look at the engine unfortunately, but it is a pretty decent engine. It's 2.5 litre turbocharged inline 5, producing 385 horsepower and 354 pounds-feet of torque. I think it's derived from the Audi TT RS. So pretty formidable engine. Not quite as much power as out of the Audi TT, as obviously this is more of an SUV, so you need to compromise a little bit on power to make it as stable as possible given the higher ground clearance and extra weight. But that is still a pretty decent amount of power, and also looks great on the interior, as you can see. Looks really decent. Again, I like the copper accenting that we've already seen in the concept car in the previous review that I did, and but unlike with that concept car, we can at least look in the rear, which as you can see has a decent amount of space and decent headroom to go along with it. So but sadly we cannot look at the boot. So it's a bit of a shame that this, even though this is a free car, you get it in your gift tab on your messages along with the concept car that we've already looked at. I would have liked to at least been able to see the engine or the boot, or both, to be honest. But still, it is a free car, and it is a car I've wanted in a Forza game for a very long time. Ever since it was first reviewed, I think on 5th Gear, I think I saw it on, and they were talking about how powerful and how stable it is as a handling car, and I love the look of it and everything like that. So I've been wanting it on a game for a while. So I am glad it's here, but I just wish it had more in the way of detail to show off. But still, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. So unlike the Tavascan, this is not limited by a low top speed, so we are going to go onto this drag strip and see how quick we can go before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll go around the track. So with all-wheel drive and a pretty potent engine, this is hardly a slow car off the line, as you can see. Now obviously it's not going to be as quick as say an Audi TT, which it shares the engine with, because it is a weightier car at 3,545 pounds, but that is still very little in the way of weight compared to other SUVs of this similar kind of type. So 132 mph across the speed camera line there, which is pretty good. And I really like this car. I like the sound of it. I like the quad exhaust that it's got going on. I like the copper accenting that's going on. The overall looks like a really rather nice looking vehicle, and it sounds pretty good as well. Plus that 5-cylinder engine does make it a bit more unique compared to other sports SUVs, which normally have V6s, V8s or more, and typically have obviously a lot more power. But this has a decent compromise between good power, but also it's not got a massive thirsty engine to go alongside it either. So let's look at the stats. So we're in low-end A class, and stats are all fairly good, to be honest. Only really the braking, which is typical of a lot of cars in this game, are on the low side, but launch, acceleration, handling and speed are all excellent. Off-road capability could be a little bit better given this is obviously an SUV, but it's more obviously leaning towards the sports side rather than the the versatility side. So but overall a solid stats. A little bit weighted to the front at 58% front and 42% rear, but that is still a decent overall weight. It's not like 60% or more, which can sometimes happen with vehicles of this type. So as per usual with vehicles that we review on this game, I'll let you listen to the engine noise first, and then we'll talk about it some more. So let's see what it sounds like. So yeah, I really like the noise on this car. The engine sounds reasonably unique, while it's also quite sporty, and yeah, it doesn't sound dull at all. And yeah, handling wise, it's also pretty much on point. Yeah, the brakes are not the best by any means, but if you're careful with them, you can make them work in your favour. And yeah, overall the handling is nice. The all-wheel drive system is working well with the power. It's not being overwhelmed by the power. And yeah, overall it is a fun car to drive, and it is a lot more nippy than you'd expect it to be, given it's a weighty car. And yeah, 0 to 60 is dealt with in only 4.521 seconds. 0 to 100 is dealt with in 9.8 seconds flat, and it can go to a top speed of 176 miles an hour, which is pretty on point, quite frankly. And yeah, this overall reminds me of the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, which yeah, had, you know, more power than this. It had 503 horsepower, and yeah, it's also a great looking car with all-wheel drive and plenty of speed and acceleration. But this reminds me of that because this is also quite lightweight. It's got a unique engine like the Alfa. It's got, you know, a really small capacity engine, but that Alfa has one extra cylinder, which, and you know, it's derived from basically a Ferrari engine. So that's why it's got that kind of level of power. But still, this is hardly underpowered by any means. And yeah, like I said, it uses its power really well. I can only imagine if you gave it even more power, it would feel a little bit overwhelmed. But yeah, 385 seems just about right. So yeah, overall, I love this car. It's not disappointed whatsoever after me wanting it in a game for a while. And yeah, I'm glad it's finally made an appearance on a game that I really rather enjoy. So yeah, like with the previous Cupra that we've reviewed, you can get this in your gift tab, like I've already said, in your messages. It should be in there right now if you haven't looked already. And yeah, it's well worth trying it out. Yes, you can't fully view it with the engine or the boot or anything like that, but still, as a car to drive and enjoy, it is a fantastic one. And yeah, one of the few SUVs that I genuinely enjoy driving. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.